Welcome or welcome back. I'm Steph. I do reactions to and reviews of queer TV shows, movies, and books. So if you're into that, please consider subscribing. Today we are talking about HBO's Betty, not to be mistaken with Taylor Swift's Betty. So if you're in the right class, season starts with Kurt, who is taking a selfie of her badly bruised ass. And this immediately lets us know that these women are badasses. Once she's satisfied that she got the shot that she wanted, she skates through New York City, FaceTiming with her friend Janae, and they're talking about a all-girl skate sesh. Unfortunately, the event is kind of a bust despite the fact that Kurt comes through with the Arizonas, but they do meet Honey Bear there. They also meet Camille there, but at this point in the show, she still has to work through a lot of internalized misogyny and male validation issues. I know that sounds judgy, and I really don't mean it that way. I get it. I think we can all in some way relate to a need for approval. I was just hoping that at some point in the show she would realize that laughing along to these annoying and problematic jokes that the guys are making would not actually make them funny and wouldn't actually make them accept her. We see a few shots of the actual skate park, and it's very notably full of men.
I'm scared.
A little later in the episode, Camille gets her backpack stolen after she leaves it at the skate park. And so Janae, despite the fact that Camille was a little bit cold to them earlier, decides to help her out. Thus begins the premise of the rest of the episode. So Janae uses the Find My Phone app on her phone to slowly get closer and closer to the person who stole Camille's backpack. Meanwhile, Kurt, Honey Bear, and Phil, random guy Phil, run into Farouk and his friend slash business associate, Indigo. And Kurt is, I think, clearly immediately into Indigo. Although when Phil calls her out on it, she has this kind of funny moment.
I wasn't. It's not my fault if my Let's Skate and my Let's Smash vibes got some overlap.
Okay, so I was a little bit disappointed that this didn't actually become a romance, but at least it developed into a really cute friendship. When Indigo asks Kurt why she even likes skating, Kurt says,
Skateboarding is not about landing tricks all the time. That's why girls are so intimidated. They think that's what they need to do. Like, it's just about having fun. It doesn't matter how many tricks you have.
I thought that was a really good explanation, despite the fact that Kurt had kind of a weird voice thing happening there. Kurt then teaches Indigo to skate, and somehow by the next episode, she's a pro. I don't know. Anyway, side note, what's cool is that Nina Moran, who plays Kurt, actually did teach a Johnny Russell, who plays Indigo, to skate in real life. The first episode ends with all of them actually tracking down the person who stole the backpack, and then they happily go to the Winter Bowl only for Camille to sort of abandon them. Kind of an uncomfortable moment. In the second episode, we start at Honey Bear's house. We don't spend too much time learning about her dad or her grandma, but given the fact that she's wearing more conservative attire and that she, in a later episode, breaks up with Ash after seeing her dad in public, it is somewhat made clear that her family isn't the most supportive or accepting. After that opening scene, we get an amazing shot of this guy eating an ice cream cone that very much gives me Hawkeye Initiative vibes, where artists draw male superheroes in the same positions that female superheroes were originally drawn in to highlight the absurdity and over-sexualization that is being normalized. We then move to another scene with equally interesting social commentary during the Janae and Donald show, which is their YouTube channel. They're talking about gentrification in New York City, which is very relevant. Speaking of Janae and Donald, later on that episode, Donald tells Janae that he disabled comments to protect her. By the way, my YouTube comments are not disabled, so feel free to add one saying what you thought of the first season. Anyway, he tells her that it was to protect her, but in reality, we learn that it was not actually to protect her, but to keep her from finding out about the allegations made against him. He is accused of sexual assault by a woman named Yvette, and his reaction is to equate the Me Too movement with witch trials.
You serious?
We learn a little bit more about Donald and Janae in a later episode, so we'll come back to this. The only other thing that I wanted to make note of in this episode is that there's this cool juxtaposition that happens between Camille and her friend group, where there's a clear social hierarchy and she's at the bottom, versus Janae, Kurt, Indigo, and Honey Bear, who have this very cool female empowerment sort of friendship. So I thought that was a pretty cool directorial choice. Okay, moving on to the third episode. In this episode, we see that Indigo loses her weed pens, and they go back to the skate park to try to find it. And they do actually find it, but in the hands of a bunch of guys who have been clearly smoking it. Even though Indigo correctly calls them out for stealing and smoking this product that is clearly not theirs, we get the most unsurprising response from a white guy who is definitively in the wrong.
If you knew that they were your pens, you wouldn't be having this conversation.
Why the fuck are you trying to like ruin my life? You're right. You're upsetting me and it sucks.
Listen, y'all.
So they do get the pens back, but a lot of the product is already gone, and Indigo is left to figure out how she's going to recoup the cost. In the third episode is also when we get this adorable moment where Honey Bear skates past Ash and then denies it later. Very funny. But okay, I've gone on long enough without addressing Bambi. Okay, so as you might remember, Bambi is this guy who creates videos, and Camille is a huge fan of his videos and is super excited when he starts giving her attention. And is even more excited when he decides to film her. Side note, she's got tricks. They hang out and Camille is over the moon about it. Again, this is another one that we'll come back to. Episode 3 ends in utter chaos. Janae confronts Yvette, Kurt steps in and then starts fighting this random sexist guy. She throws her skateboard through the window. The police come and she runs away. In episode 4, we see that Kurt actually escaped while Janae, Honey Bear, and Indigo were arrested. This causes a lot of tension between them because Kurt refuses to apologize or acknowledge her role in the events that took place and what led to the arrest of the other girls. Later in the episode, she tries to apologize by giving them shrooms that she got from the girl she hooked up with, but obviously they were not here for it because they were hoping for a genuine apology where she recognized what she did. Indigo, who was supposed to use the money she stole from her mom to pay back Farouk for the weed pens that she lost, instead uses that money to bail out the three. Unfortunately, in the last episode of the season, we see that there are consequences to this since Indigo gets kicked out from her mom's house. So even though it was Indigo who bailed Camille out, Camille doesn't know this yet and she thinks it's Bambi. So when she approaches Bambi and thanks him for letting her out, she's shocked to find out that he actually had completely forgotten to bail her out. Then, when he's later called out on it by Janae, he takes it out on Camille, who's heartbroken. In the fourth episode is also when we get this adorable date between Ash and Honey Bear, and yeah, I definitely ship them. The episode ends with a shocking moment after Yvette and Janae talk about Donald, and Janae confirms that Yvette is definitely telling the truth, and when asked why, she says, because he did the same thing to me. So obviously I had to immediately watch the next episode to see where this would go, and I have to give the actor who plays Donald some props because damn, he played a convincing manipulator slash gaslighter. In the fifth episode, we also get these hilarious moments of Kurt super high on shrooms and her surprisingly cute rat named Persephone. And per Stephanie's request, I will now be getting a rat. I'm just kidding, my cat would hate that. Or love it? I don't know. We also get cute shots of Ash and Honey Bear. Unfortunately, this episode also hits us with the moment that the two break up. After Ash asked Honey Bear why they had to hide behind a pillar when she saw her dad. Going back to a lighthearted moment, we see towards the end of the episode more funny moments of the two different groups of friends who are high. Most notably, this moment.
Well, Stephanie's just a rat, yo.
And so am I.
Facts.
You get it? You get it.
I get it, yeah. You're a rat.
And it's in this moment that Kurt realizes what she did wrong and how she did her friends dirty. Which leads to a sincere apology in the season finale. After apologizing to Janae, Indigo, and Honey Bear, she also apologizes to Camille, who she finds trying to help a little girl learn how to skate. The cute little moment is interrupted though when this little girl's dad comes over and yells at them for teaching their daughter this. We do have a few satisfying moments in the season finale though. For example, Janae tells Donald that she is not interested in helping him better himself, that he needs to figure that out without the help of one of the people he preyed upon. Camille doesn't text Bambi back, even though she admits that she is attracted to him. And then the best moment of all is they put on a second all-girl skate sesh, and it is a hit. Unfortunately, Kurt's not able to go because she gets doored, meaning she runs into a door on her skateboard. But it's cool to see all of these women come together, skating around the city. Oh, it was really, really empowering and awesome to see. The season actually ends with the same little girl from the beginning of the episode who opens the door to find a skateboard there, and she excitedly takes it back in. It definitely ends with this uplifting and empowering message about future generations continuing the work that current generations and past generations have done to interrupt traditionally male-dominated spaces and make them more inclusive to people of all genders. Okay, I hope that was a helpful recap. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the first season and whether you'll be tuning into the second season. I definitely enjoyed it and will be watching the second, maybe reacting to it, but I'd love to know whether you'd all be interested in seeing that. Leave a skateboard emoji if you made it through the whole video. Thanks so much for watching, and